Okay, math expressions homework and remembering Unit 6, Lesson 4. We are writing equations, and we're also using mental math or estimation to check our equation and our answer to make sure it's reasonable for the story problem to have such an answer. So, looking at number 1 on the homework side, 6-4, it says, in a speed test, a computer took 12 4/10 seconds to complete one task and 37 8/10 seconds to complete a more difficult task. How much time was needed to complete both tasks? So how much time was needed? There were how many tasks? Well, there were 2. And we need to figure out how much time it took for both. And I think this is a pretty simple problem to figure out how to solve. But when they ask for the equation, that means there must be an equal sign in that equation. Hence the root word there is equal. So if we look at the equation for this, we have our first task took 12 4/10. And then we want to find how much time it took together, so we're going to add our other tasks in its length of time. It was 8/10. And there's that equation. What do we put this equal to? I know all of you know that it's going to be equal to n. That's our variable. This is called a solution equation because our variable n is our solution. When we find what n is, that's our answer. So this is called a solution equation. Now we need to find out the answer. Well, if you do the math and you add these up, you will get that n is equal to 50 and 2/10 of a second. I'm going to abbreviate seconds just like that. So there's our equation and answer. Now the next part of question number 1 asked us to estimate. So this is a very, very important skill to have to make sure this is reasonable. So if we round our first addend of 12 4/10, we're going to round 12 4/10 to what? Round 12 4/10 to 10, because it's closer to 10 than 20, and 37, our next addend, 37 8/10, well, what will we round that to? Well, it's closer to 40 than it is to 30. Then we're going to add this estimation to see if our answer is reasonable and correct. So what we're going to add then is we're going to add 10 and 40. Well, what do we get when we add 10 and 40? Well, 10 plus 40 is going to give us 50. So now we can look back. Is 50 as an estimation? Does that show that our answer for n, 50 and 2/10 of a second, does 50 tell us that this is very reasonable? And it does. It's only actually 2/10 of a second off from our estimation to our exact answer. Therefore, we can summarize by saying if we round 12 4/10 to 10 and 37 8/10 to 40, then add 40 plus 10 equals 50, we know our answer is reasonable because our estimate 10 plus 40 is about 60 seconds. So everything is adding up and showing that we're on the right track when we did our adding in this equation and we found the correct answer for n. Now this is probably the most simplistic way to do it because we are working with addition and these numbers are pretty easy to work with, but when we're working with fractions or we're dividing or multiplying, all these same skills take into fact. So if you look at number 2, that one's going to be adding. Number 3 on this homework side will be dividing, and number 4 will be subtracting. So keep that in mind. Number 2, adding. Number 3, division. Number 4, subtraction. Alright? So good luck on your homework tonight, and I will see you in class.